I shall be making speeches in both languages. So bear with me for the Chinese language, for the Indians and the Malays, brothers and sisters. Okay. 今天我们原本要讲的就是消费税的涨幅，但是我觉得一定有因才有果啊。我把这一次的这个的消费税涨幅整个计划呢是垃圾的计划，哎，这个是很严重的指责，垃圾计划。为什么呢？我们里面我们的那个国库里面啊，你们知道有多少钱吗？我也不知道，但是我们可以算得出国库里面到底大约有多少钱。这个是一个惊人的数目，不是100亿，不是1000亿，是整万亿在国库里面。1980年，我10多岁，我听着老李在台上面前，他说我们这些国库啊，是要我们的将来的子孙打算。我现在40岁、48岁了，我是以他们1980年的将来，我有得益吗？没有，他们还要给我加这个消费税。所以今天的年轻人，你不要被骗。他说：“哦，我们这些钱要留下来，所以你们要缴更高的消费税，因为这笔钱是给以后你们要用的。到我这个年龄，他们可能还会再增加消费税。不要被骗，我们已经被骗了一次，哎，不可以再永远被他们骗下去。哎，哪一个政府在当今的社会里面，能很稳定的说，下一届政府一定要增加税负？只有 BAB， 这个是一个很荒唐的一件事情。这一届的政府决定下一届的政府的消费税要起，有这个理由吗？绝对没有。为什么他们有这样的担当说，哦，我肯定下一届肯定是做政府的，我肯定可以增加消费税的？这就是我们新加坡人给他们78%的选票的结果。得意忘形，目中无人。我们也可以说反对党不争气，没有错，我们是不争气。哎，只不过我们争气不争气，也要靠你们的支持。这一次起的不只是消费税，还有什么税收？水、电，接下来还没有起的油，然后就是你们的交通费。一个国家有1万亿的国库，竟然要起到这样子，到底是什么理由？他们给我们理由说，我们要节俭，国库不可以空虚，所以我们要起。这样我倒要问他们，当你们花这样多钱去扩建一个机场的时候，你到底有没有预算的？没有。他跟我们讲，我们不知道到底要花多少钱，10亿不止，100亿也不知道。总之我要起你的费，机场费也照起，这样是负责任的政府吗？对吧？说到这个国库费，我们得益，我们还没有得益哦，我们下一代没有得益，我们已经知道我们要被剥削了，再起2%的消费税，这是什么道理？如果他是一个节俭的政府，这样为国着想的政府，他为什么要去借贷？钱放在国库里面，然后说哦，我们不够钱，我们要起你的税， 还要去借贷来起机场各种设施，这个是什么预算？不是垃圾预算吗？以往的行动党政府已经不见了。以往吴清瑞在的时候，从来不会这样子做的。你要建什么设施，钱一定要到位，绝对不会说我们到底要花多少钱去建这个机场，没有这回事。吴清瑞这样的人都不敢说100年我要花费多少来建设施。我们还没有当总理的总理，未来总理竟然说我们已经建立了100年，我们的100年我们要花多少钱？这是什么话？你能要规划一个国家的100年的宏图大计是要多少的资源吗？多少的知识在里面吗？而且每一个时代都有不变，科技在变，人在变，需要在变，需求在变。你既然可以跟我们讲，你100年后你知道你要建什么东西，我说放屁。为了起消费税，为了加任何税收，信口开河，没有一个政府可以说100年以内我要花费什么的。来，冲关，他们这个是大费用，回来他就跟我说：“哦，我给你300块钱，安抚一下，继续投给我吧。”如果新加坡人选择再被骗的话，我真的是无话可说。哎，谢谢大家。That's the end of my Chinese speech. My English speech will be more detailed. I will touch on the reserve and how the budget should be planned. We should have a reform budget, the mindset of budget. Right? Now, just now, my speech is entitled Rubbish Budget. And I do not say this easily. I have not seen a budget that is so irresponsible. I'm surprised all the MPs sitting in the parliament are praising the budget to be forward-looking. I say that is rubbish. First of all, which government in this world can decide for the next government how much tax is going to increase? That's arrogance, blatant arrogance. Oh yeah. Why do they think that they have this mandate to decide for the next government? Because Singaporeans have given them 70% of votes. That is the basis of their confidence. The second reason, we are going to change our Prime Minister soon. How can the current Prime Minister decide for the next Prime Minister what he should do? That is undermining the future Prime Minister. Is the future Prime Minister a puppet? Whoever it is? That's pure arrogance. The third ridiculous arrogance we have is that they claim that they have planned for 100 years of infrastructure spending. That's utter rubbish. No country can plan for 100 years. If you can plan for 5 years and make it work, you are a good government. You can plan for 10 years with some tweaking. Eventually, you are a best government. 20 years at most. Because technology is changing. Demographic is changing. Demands are changing. World politics are changing. How can you have a crystal ball that predicts the future for 100 years? That's utter rubbish. I am from economics. I study economics. Nowhere have I seen an economic plan that go beyond 7 years. Goh Meng Seng plan 5 years by 5 years. And he doesn't boast about 100 years, not even 20 years. Who would know MRT is the main force of transportation nowadays, back in the 60s? Yes, they plan, but they are still worried. They cannot certain. Is that the best technology for the future? Nobody knows. And that's pure arrogance. It's utter rubbish. Now, and yet, after having a record surplus, they say we need to increase GST for the next government. Are they saying that the next government is going to fall into deficit without this increase? I searched through. There's no concrete plan, no concrete justification. What are the spendings? What are the plans for the next government? Don't say 100 years, next government. What are they going to spend? And why they need that increase of GST? Healthcare? No, they didn't mention anything. More handouts? They didn't mention anything. Then on what basis do you plan 3 years in advance for a tax raise? Well, there are one thing in mind where I can read why they are in trouble. Overspending in infrastructure. When you drive around Singapore, you see all construction sites, right? You see all construction sites. Where are the money going to come from? And in fact, recently they just announced they're going to raise the airport tax to finance the Terminal 5. And yet, they cannot give us a definite budget of the Terminal 5. Is it 10 billions, 20 billions? Nobody knows. Is that a responsible government should do? An open-ended budget for Terminal 5. That's why I say it's a rubbish budget. And the worst thing is, they said we should not deplete our reserve, right? By using the returns from the reserve or using the land sales. But on the other hand, they say that we are going to raise bonds to finance all this infrastructure. Is that contradicting? As an Asian, any family will be very responsible when they make decisions to make loans. We do not make loans easily. We are used to keep our savings really for our future generations. But when on one hand you say we have to save for our future generation, and now you are burdening our generation, not only our generation, because the bonds have to be repaid in 20, 30 years' time. Our future generation, then aren't you contradicting? Are you for or against our future generation? Increasing GST will not only affect us. Future generation will suffer the same GST level. So even before our future generation benefit anything from the reserve, they're burdened by debts, national debts. They're burdened by GST. That's why do not be fooled by the sweet tongues. It's twisted logic. There's no logic in this PAP's budget. They can twist and turn, whatever they like. And how much are we going to spend for the next 5 years? Nobody knows. They can only plan 1 year budget. But they already plan how much they are going to get. Is that rubbish? It's illogical. Completely illogical. Now, I used to talk about Goh Meng Seng a lot during my time when I was still a student. I studied all the white papers that he has set up. For every plan that he has, he makes sure that every penny spent is value for money. Right? Value for money. That means you can actually earn it back. But look, they are not only spending unknown amount on the Terminal 5, but you look at the plan, they are going to build what? indoor forest, very grand, huh? Looks great, indoor forest. But do you know how much it will cost in maintenance cost for that indoor forest alone? It's not just the expenditure on infrastructure, it's a long-term maintenance plan for that indoor forest. They are not being practical. They have lost the thrifty mindsets of our founding generations. They want something grand, extraordinary, at all costs. At our expense, GST, long-term bonds. I'll come to the reserve. Why putting money into the reserve and raising bonds is good if you are a company, because that's called leverage. But it's bad for the country. When you put money into the reserve, is there a guarantee that always make money? Have we not forgotten in 2009 how much money have we lost in a very risky bet when they go and buy all those financial institutions, thinking that it's a good buy, good grab, long-term investment. But the long-term investment end up 5 years, they make loss, they cut loss, they chow. Is that long-term investment? There's no accountability for that. They can lose big money. They are not God. And imagine if I are going to raise a lot of debts to finance our infrastructure. If one day the financial crisis crash on us, what will happen? On one hand, you are stuck. You cannot sell off your assets at good price. Most likely you are going to suffer. And if we are forced to redeem all our debts, there's double whammy. You might have a leverage when you do a loan and putting reserve into thinking that it should win. But the reverse is true. No risk, no gain. That's high-risk strategy for a government. Management of reserve should not be based on making money. Management of reserve should be based on stability for the country. What does it mean? It means that you are supposed to manage your funds so that it provides stability for the economy, for the country. Your job is to make sure that the reserve doesn't depreciate due to inflation. Your job is not like playing in casino, using that reserve as a casino trip and go and buy risky assets. And if the manager of the reserve do that, there's moral hazard. What is moral hazard? Akong money, I invest, high risk. If I make money, I take higher bonus. If I lose money, I don't have bonus, but it's not my money. That's called moral hazard. So there is a risk and a problem when you have too much reserve. And that is why in Hong Kong, when the government says that I want to put more money into reserve, people will make noise, but not in Singapore. Now, when we talk about depleting reserve, there are only a few ways of depleting reserve. Losing big money by the fund managers, our Temasek Holding or the GIC, is the only way that we can deplete our reserves. Not putting more money into the reserve will not deplete the reserve. Not putting land sales proceeds from now on will not deplete our reserve. Do not be fooled. Using most of the returns from the reserve to supplement the budget will not deplete the reserve. The reserve could only wipe out if and only if someone screw up with the investment. That is the truth and the only truth. Well, I would support to use land sales proceeds to finance infrastructure investment. This is something that PAP have resisted. And the only explanation or justification they say that, oh, this should go to the reserve. If we do that, we are raiding the reserve. That's rubbish, utter rubbish. Now, what is land sale proceed? A land sales of a 99 years, 20 years, or 30 years of land is actually a present value of what the land can produce, the value of the land over this period of time. Basically, it's a future value of this land that I'm receiving as a government. If you invest this into the infrastructure, you are creating value, because infrastructure will bring value, whether it's a road, right, airport, or whatever, over the years that it will be used. So you are basically getting a future value of the land, the assets that you are selling, to create value for the future. What's wrong with that? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We are not saying that you get the land sales revenue, the future value, to spend it, to give ministers more pay, to throw to people, budget supply, to throw ang pao to people. No. We are investing in infrastructure that will give us a value in future. And that is the justification that we should have when we are utilizing land sales. And we do not need to raise any bonds. And we cut down the risk. First, we cut down the risk of having a debt. Secondly, we cut down the risk of giving too much money to people to squander it, to mismanage it. And we do not need to pay interest. That is the concept that we should have in our budgeting. What Heng Swee Keat says, what Chan Chun Sing says, are all rubbish. For whatever reason they have, they just want to have more money, not only from you, but for your future generations, your son, your grandson, your great-grandson. Because GST is going to last for life, eternity, practically. To keep it in the reserve. For who? Farm managers? Who will play with it and get bonus for it? No, that is not. And under the international standard, how much reserve should the country have? There's a standard. 6 years of your GDP. No, 6 years. 6 years of GDP. No, 6 months of GDP, sorry. Even 6 years we have enough. Our GDP is about 300 billion. No, 300 billion. 6 months, sorry. That means half of your GDP. Even we have 1 year of GDP as a reserve, we should have only about 300 billion to 400 billion. But we have 1 trillion in our reserve. 1 trillion. MAS alone have more than 300 billion. 400 billion reserves. Right? That is not counting the 200, 300 billion in Temasek Holdings. And we do not know how much is in GIC. So there's no justification to continue to grow the reserve in such a rate, putting land sales proceed into it. Our reserve come from a few sources. CPF is one, because through the bond. Land sale proceed. Stats boards. All right? And foreign direct investment, which they exchange for our currency, and we keep their foreign currency as a reserve. That's what MAS is doing. Unless you are saying that we are going to face a very critical financial crisis, that all foreign investment will zao, then we are in trouble. But are we going to face that? Even if that happens, we have enough in our reserve to deal with that. So what is the rationale to continue to grow the reserve at such a rate? We as a father, I am a father, I always tell my daughter, yes, you have to be thrifty, but not a miser. Money has no value when you do not spend it. That's the fundamental of economics. You cannot enjoy the value of money when you do not spend it. If you keep it in the piggy bank, it's no value. So the thing is, you have to spend it wisely. And do not think that putting money into the reserve is all safe. It's no safe. We have experienced it. 2009 is a very, very good experience that we have. 60 billion off, 55 billion loss, write off. Whose money is that? Whose money is that? It's not PAP's money. It's our money. And they continue to tell us we have continued to do it while taxing us. So I hope people will have to rethink what is the direction of budgeting should be. We have 20 billion, billions of land sales, and more than 20 billions of land sales each year. And we are going to increase 2%, which create about, $3 billion each year. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. Even if we do not put all the land sales into the reserve, just spend half of it on infrastructure. We can manage. And this is something that PAP do not want to tell you. They will tell you all sorts of reasons that we have looked through all the things and that GST increase is the only way. That's rubbish. Thank you.